Hi guys, welcome back to CP Mom and Daughter. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're listening or watching, thank you so much for your support, liking, subscribing, all of the things. Welcome back to CP Mom and Daughter. Today I want to talk about expectations and how they can be harmful. So I'm thinking about and looking at expectations from two sides. One, from having cerebral palsy myself, and two, from having a daughter with a more severe case of cerebral palsy. So growing up, there are many things that I did not have to go through, that I did not experience. I have never been in a wheelchair long term. I've used wheelchairs at hospitals, but I've never had to use a wheelchair out and about. There was a couple of field trips that I went to, and we had these stroller things that they put me in just to save time. But I've never been in a situation where I absolutely couldn't walk. I've never been in a situation where I had to use a walker long term. I've had to use walkers for having surgeries, but I've never had to go to school with a walker. I've never had to go to school with a cane. So a lot of my disability, I've been able to adapt or hide or blend in. Now, with my daughter, she does have to use a wheelchair on a daily basis, and it's not a wheelchair that she propels herself. It's a wheelchair that we push. She has to have assistance going from one place to another. She has to have assistance with the whole bathroom routine. Those are different things that I have not experienced. Now, I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm realizing that when you haven't experienced something, it's so easy to have an expectation of, well, why would we think about that? They won't have to go through that. Or why would we think about that? Because they'll be able to do this and this and this. It's okay to have hopes and dreams that your loved ones are going to be able to do certain things. But I also believe that it's important to be okay with the other side of the coin. If they're not able to do certain things. And as Misty's mom, I'm realizing that there's certain things that she might not be able to do, or if she's able to do them, it might take her some time. So I'm trying to think with an open mind, okay, what would we do in this situation? Or what would we do in that situation? When I have family, and possibly even some friends, maybe they just haven't expressed it, that they have expectations that her situation's going to be a lot like mine. And yes, we both have cerebral palsy, but we're two different people with two different levels of cerebral palsy. And yes, we have essentially the same part, but or the same type, but it affects different parts of our body. And so it's just so important that conversations are had with the fact of it's okay to talk about certain things. Just because I'm talking about something, just because I'm researching into something, doesn't mean I've given up on that person. It means I want to make sure that they have the best chance possible to succeed and to tackle whatever may come their way. Excuse me. right now we're looking into that with potty training. My thought was, maybe we'll just give it a try and try these different things and it'll probably work out. But it's important to remember and realize her situation's different than mine. I never had to go through not walking. I was walking by 18 months. So everything related to my cerebral palsy has just been delayed by a little bit. My crawling was delayed. My rolling over, all the motor skills were delayed. But I got to the point where I could walk, where I could run, where I could feed myself. I was potty trained just later. Everything was just delayed, but it never got to the point of realizing, oh, she's to this certain age and not meeting these milestones, and things are getting a little bit more challenging, so maybe we should look into some other options. With Miss D's case, she is older. She'll be 3.5 very soon. And so she's getting heavier. And as much as, yes, we could carry her around, we want her to feel like a little girl, not like a baby. She tells us constantly, I'm not a baby, and she's not. She's right. And so, as much as I'll cuddle her whenever she needs it and hold her like my baby, but I also want her to have that love and independence that she also desires as well. And so, whether that means making sure that we have a wheelchair around, whether that means in the future that we get an electric wheelchair, we've had the conversation, my husband and I, about the possibility of an electric wheelchair. We understand that that's going to mean a different vehicle. We understand, that we're possibly looking at fundraising down the road, for these different things. Yeah, it's just, as much as there's all these people that, love us and care about us, and I know they're coming from a good place. Like, you always want to hope that your child or your loved one is going to be able to do the utmost. But I think it's also important to look at them and say, you know what? If you want to keep pursuing this, we'll keep working towards this. But if Miss D were to ever get to the point where she says, Mom, working on walking and everything, it's just painful. It's more exhausting. Like, being in a wheelchair isn't giving up either. I'm trying to think of what the book was called. I think the book's called Caring. This was of a lady that had cerebral palsy back, I don't want to say it. Anyways, in the 90s. And before all these laws and things were passed, and she was pushed to work on walking and standing. But then she eventually realized that it was just wearing her out. And she was using up this energy on walking and then didn't have energy for anything else. And so I want to make sure that if that's Miss D's case in the future, that we're just focused on whatever's best for her. Is having that attitude going to be more expensive? Possibly, probably. But that's okay. Like, so many times we have this idea of, well, you're in this area, so you have to speak this language, or you have to wear, makeup, or you have to walk this way, or you have to dress this way. And concepts and perceptions of people, it needs to change. I've shared this before, and I'll share it again. I'm a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ. And I know and believe that when I get to heaven, Jesus isn't going to look at me and be like, your left arm's a little small. You walk with a limp. I don't know if we'll let you in. No. He's going to judge my heart, not my outside. And I'm going to receive a new body someday, and I'm looking forward to that day. But I also know that the Lord has given me the body I have now, and He's given Miss D the body she has now. So I'm going to teach her to love it and to respect it and to be okay with the situation she's in. There's nothing wrong with trying to better yourself. But there's also something to be said about accepting what the Lord has given you and being grateful for it. So, anyways, I'm sorry. I don't know exactly where all this was going. I felt like it needed to be said because I've had some people say and mention some things, and I know they didn't mean any harm by it. But as a parent, I'm feeling the pressure of those expectations, and I definitely don't want to pass that on to Misty. Excuse me. Because I know she will have her own challenges and things that she will need to take care of just dealing with her cerebral palsy in general. I don't want to put the pressure of what other people are expecting of her on her. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye. God bless.